Well, good afternoon, all. Here we are at Confessions of an Awakened Boss Lady. I am so excited about us connecting with each and every one of you today. It's going to be a powerful conversation, slightly different than in the past, because today I have with me Becky Remo. Becky is a health lifestyle strategist, and she is such a powerful and close friend of mine. Becky is
Thank you.
you.
As are you.
Thank you. Becky is one of the coaches that comes in as a sister in support, as a collaborator to the Awakened Boss Lady retreats, the Her Essence on Earth retreats. And we wanted to come on today and just share together a little bit about, the retreat experience, the retreat in itself, for us and for other women, because I've been getting a lot of questions about the retreat experience in the past couple of days. And I thought, who better than my sister Becky to come on here and we could just jam about different experiences that we've had. So before we get started, Becky, I do want to let everyone get to know you a little bit better. And I'm going to go for my signature question, which is share with us a little bit what you're passionate about, how you're contributing to humanity currently. I'd love to hear.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Saying that I'm contributing to humanity. What a beautiful reminder. Thank you. Um, no, I am really excited to be in health right now. I know for all of us globally, it has been a huge, huge topic, something that has been brought into the forefront, whether we wanted it to or not. And I am a firm believer, have seen it for myself for over 20 years and for clients for years now, how natural health, how a healthy lifestyle can really, really make a difference in healing your body and in, just longevity, reversing disease, just so many things. And the simple factors, stress and sleep and how much water we're drinking, definitely the food that we're putting into our bodies and building each day. And but now I even participate on a larger scale of trying to participate in areas where policy change can happen, and where we're looking at what's going into our school lunches, what programs are there for underserved populations, how can we come together and really change the food that is available for people. So it's, the inequities that are in health. So for me, every day I'm working with individual clients or group programs and helping them to really, put in their, create their healthy lifestyle. And it's usually different for each person. And then they're reaching out to their friends, and then their offices are changing, and then their homes are changing, and then their children go to college, and that they're influencing their dorm rooms. So it's really just a beautiful thing to see. And sometimes I feel like I'm by myself, standing and surrounded by fast food, and no one wants to listen. They're like, "No, don't take away my donut. I'm not taking away your donut, I promise." It's just that we have to think about what else we're doing around that donut. But yeah, it's, I love it. I love it because it's just an beautiful thing when I see people able to make small changes in their daily lives and see big results for themselves, for their families. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Wow, that's super interesting. I wasn't aware of all the pieces that you're doing in order to do the policy changes and the changes in the different schools. Big bow to you, sister, for being actively in that piece, because I know it's a big one. And I want to personally say that I am witness and an example of what it is to start slowly. and what it means to kind of take one piece of, your diet and shift it. Like, since we've started this process, which has been several years now, it didn't happen overnight,
Yeah.
but I could claim being, a good 75 to 80% plant-based in my
Ooh,
diet. And I think
okay.
it's more than that, but I want to be
I love
conservative
it.
in case you see me out there having my pizza or having a burger here and there. But I really am committed to being plant-based. And what I do is I keep everything in my house to where it's
Mm,
plant-based. And then whenever I'm out and about, I have like a more open policy to enjoy other things. So, and it's made
yes.
a huge difference. And I know that it's a big piece. It's become a really big piece. It's funny how when we first started doing this at the retreat, it was like, more of a let's collaborate, let's see how we can bring our magic to these women. We had very similar niches. And now it's become a table stake where a lot of the women that are coming to the retreat, as you know, like I work with women 40 and over, 50 and over, and this piece around remaining healthy or coming back to health and getting
Hmm.
strong and remaining mobile. Sometimes it's not about
Yes.
losing weight, but it's more about feeling good about what they're putting in their body. And it's become a piece that we can proudly share as something we offer throughout the retreat, because
Yes.
it's
Mhm.
part like you coming in and prepping the food with the love that you prep, allowing the women to see how easy it is to prep it, and allowing
Yes.
the women to understand the ingredients that are coming into their body has become a big piece around the retreats. So I wanted to give you a big like kudos, shout out, and thanks for that.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It is my pleasure. And I know we've had so many experiences with women showing up and saying, okay, this lady's going to cook our food all weekend and there's going to be tofu and celery, and I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
When they finally, jokingly, of course, it's a plethora of this, beautiful harvest of food that we always have. And we do plant forward. So we're not completely plant-based, but we're just showing people how healthy it can be to bring
Mhm.
vegetables and fruits more forward in our everyday diet. But yeah, to see the women trying the food hesitantly and then like, ooh, that's good. Ooh, let me have a little
Delicious
bit more of that.
flavor. I love it. It's so easy. The variety. My
Yeah,
piece
exactly.
around this is just knowing, a lot of the women I speak to on a daily basis are still dealing with, how their body has shifted, not only because
Hmm.
they're getting a little bit older, but also because our our rhythm changed so much during 2020, and we're still
Yeah.
a lot dealing with how do we shift, how do we come back to how we used to feel. And funny enough, it's not only a conversation around weight, it's a lot of conversation around how they feel about themselves and
Sure.
about the energy level that they have access to and the sluggishness that's coming up. So I love the fact that during these 4 days, it's almost like an opportunity to experience new ways of eating while not giving up on flavorful variety and, sustaining food, because a lot of energy work is done during the retreat. So we also want to keep them comfortable and having
Right.
like their comfort meals. So I love how you've been
Yes.
able to put this together.
Oh, well, thank you. I love collaborating. We have lots of fun.
Yeah. I wanted to bring in like the power of collaboration, and I also want us to connect around more around the retreat. I thought this would be an opportunity for us to really bring forward the conversation around the power of a retreat, right? Because it's definitely something I love. It's something that I feel provides the most time for a woman to really come in and do some transformational work without the day-to-day pieces and without the regular elements in life that come into play that don't allow you to really connect with self. So I
Right.
wanted to hopefully, come in with you, who's been to, how many retreats have you been to now, Becky? Do you
I
know?
don't know. It's been quite a few.
It's been quite a few. I think you're
Yeah.
up there at like 7 or 8 retreats,
Yeah. I'm
considering we do
closer
them
to
quarterly.
10 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
I was gonna say 10, but then I was like, well, maybe, yeah,
I have to
yeah, because
count,
we're
but
going
yes.
into retreat. I think this is retreat 15, and you've
Okay.
been to a good number of them. And
Yes.
I wanted to hear from you, like, what would you say was one of your past experiences that you can remember that were most impactful, and that you could find like the thread of how you experienced it and how it shifted or alchemized an area of your life by going to a retreat?
Okay. There are so many.
I
So
know.
even though I am in service and, providing health with these women, I get so much out of just being there, and the permission that I'm able to give myself and let go of that mom guilt, to have a few
Mhm.
days to myself,
Yeah.
to to connect with God, to do connect with other women. Which, let me preface this a little bit for for some of the women out there that may be like I was in the past. If
Mhm.
you had asked me several years back if I would go to a retreat with women I didn't know and do mind, body, and soul work, and I would kind of be like, well, maybe, I don't know, that sounds really scary.
Yeah.
What's this breath work thing? What's this, more like I meditated and prayed on my own and had
Mhm.
my own, ideas.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what am I going to get out of this? Little did I know how like earth shattering, how much deeper I would get in my faith, how much
Mhm.
more connected I would be with women who are empowering me and I'm empowering them, and the silliness of things we let bother us, or
Mhm.
anything like that from the past.
Yeah.
So when I tell you that was me before, and now I just absolutely love it. But I think one thing that was really, really powerful, and for those of you who have not done this work, it might sound a little out there until you experience something like this for yourself. But I was doing some breath work that Patty was leading. She's phenomenal. And this is,
Yeah.
like a meditation. And you're using, if you look up the science behind breath work and what it does in neuroscience, what it does for your body scientifically, it's beautiful. I also think about it as a meditation. That I'm able to connect with God. I happen to be a Christian. And so that is for me,
Mhm.
very, very important to spend that time. And I think in really almost every religion it is. But I was able to, in the breath work, relax enough and to surrender to the experience. And I was able to picture a waterfall. I wasn't picturing it, I was in it, and I could feel the water. And it was a waterfall that came off of a mountain,
I
and it
remember it
was,
was a guided meditation.
yes. And
Yeah.
I had a spirit guide there,
Yes.
which this may sound very foreign to all of you. Believe me, years ago this would have sounded foreign to me as well, but it fits very beautifully into my faith. But I was at peace because I had this person that was there with me, sitting with me, allowing me to swim in this waterfall. And when I was in that, I
Mhm.
felt and saw like that I had to release like a dark substance from my throat, from my it sounds disgusting, sorry, but it really wasn't. It was like a relief, like I had
Yeah.
to let go. And for me, coming out of that experience, and when I journaled about it and we talked about it and I unpacked it, it really was a fear of speaking, a
Mhm.
fear of speaking my truth, a fear of um, getting myself, putting myself out there, even though I know I could help people, whether it's through my business or my personal life, or sitting on something and absorbing that anger instead of speaking it out. And after that experience, I really felt that message was for me to speak, to use my voice, to use it if it's written, to use it in reaching people that I can help, however that it is manifested in so many different ways. But it was a beautiful experience through that breath work. And I think had I not had that, I probably, like, it's kind of one of those things like, yeah, you kind of want to do that or you need to work on it, but it gets put on the back burner. And by having or experienced the breath work, then having surrounded by other women supporting me and holding me accountable for that as I move forward. So it's not just the discovery. It's not just connecting with God and God showed me something to help me in my life, but now I have these powerful women that are holding me accountable.
Yeah.
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
I love the way you're describing. There's a couple of things that I am hearing you mention for the first time, because we were there and we experienced the moment together. I remember it was maybe 3 retreats back when we were in Sedona, was it, that this particular experience happened? So I love that you mentioned how you felt coming in, or what you were considering around like being with other women and like opening yourself up in that experience with women that you don't know, and the power that it had after to be in a room of like-minded women that could share a safe container, that could serve as mirrors where you see yourself in them and they see themselves in you, which is the powerful experience of gaining, like, clarity, the same clarity you have access to when you look into a mirror, you have access to when you see situations that are similar to yours, that limitations that are similar to yours in another woman, right? And this is a powerful piece that I'm extracting from what you're sharing, because I do see a lot of women coming to me and saying, I want to do this work, but I want to do it by myself. I want to have like a one-on-one. I want to have a VIP day, and all those are amazing, and you can get just as much alchemy from those. But I could honestly say that there is so much more richness in a retreat with women in a safe tribe, because as you see another woman walk through her initiations, walk through and just like transmute the pieces that are keeping her small, you have access to that same transmission. You have access to that same new coding that woman is sharing in that room. So there's an opportunity for you to do so much more work than you could ever imagine, right? Because we come in with our little checklist of what we want to cover, but then so much more shows up,
Well, and I think for myself and for a lot of other women, we feel a lot of shame around the things that we're struggling with, and we think we're the only ones. Oh my gosh, I'm so broken. I'm the only one that's dealing with this or that or the other, whatever it is in my life. And oh my gosh, I can't ever possibly tell somebody that this is happening in my life. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So having this beautiful container to do that, and everything is confidential, which is nice. We keep what happens at the retreat. And so it's a comfortable space. It's a safe space and I'm not a sharer. I'm for the most part, with close friends and people that I know, but for the most part, I hold a lot in until I've been doing some of this work. And I really appreciate for myself. And I've just seen some of the women that the beautiful transformation that I have seen at the retreats with women who are walking in, just carrying a load with them. And they're not even sure if they want to show you what's in their sack.
I know
Nobody
how.
wants to.
Yeah, no one wants this.
I'm just gonna carry it around, and then able to unpack some of that and really,
Mm.
you
I
know,
love what you're
beautiful.
sharing. I wanted to bring back the piece around the breath work, right? Because it's one of the things that we bring as a tool to the retreat in order to help a woman transcend. And I
Hmm.
loved how you described your ability to go in deeply, right? And
Hmm.
how the experience is an opportunity. It's kind of an intelligence that goes to where we are most stuck,
Hmm.
right? And that's why I love psychedelic breath work. It's one of the things that I love most of all the tools. We use several tools, but this is one that really helps cut through. And I want to hear more about that experience. I hear you saying that
Yeah.
it went to your throat, like you saw the stuckness of deep dark density in your throat. It was working with your crown, with your throat chakra, which was
Hmm.
powerful. And you saw in the experience how you were moving density from your throat. How did this show up in your life? Like what has this changed for you currently, like since then?
Yeah. So it has made me more comfortable speaking
I
my
mean, you're
truth.
here. You're here.
Yes, right. I how much pulling and I don't even know, convincing did it take for me to be on the first live with you? I was like, what? Oh, I don't know. Wait a minute, I need a month to prepare for that. What are the questions? What am I doing? Oh
Yeah.
no, I have to hide.
I love
And
that. And
yeah.
I wanna witness you in this because it's big, right? When we're entrepreneurs, when we're looking to build our business and we don't do our own work, some things
Mhm.
show up that make us less confident, less, clear about what we want to
Mhm.
communicate. And it's as simple as working on our throat chakra.
Yes. Yes. And uh I mean, it's really shown up a lot of places, even just speaking out in a conversation,
Yeah.
um, and making sure that I, not that I have to be heard, but that I don't stay silent when I
Yes.
shouldn't.
Yes.
That I make sure I'm explaining things clearly to my son
Mm.
that are very important. That um, just many things that a lot of times when I would second guess myself
Yeah.
and not allow there's so many examples, but just
The second
yeah.
guessing yourself is one that I've heard often. Like I've heard women share how they get frustrated at things like business meetings because they know they have a contribution or they know they have something to add, and their mind is just like their throat is almost like closed up where
Yeah.
they just can't get the words out. Their mind's working, they have the idea, they know it's a valuable idea, but they just cannot find themselves to say something at these
Hmm.
bigger meetings or conference calls, whatever it may be. I've heard that experience, and it's one that I've lived years ago. When I first started in corporate, I could see myself sitting through an entire meeting in my head, just thinking about, if I say this, oh, that's not a good idea because then they'll say this, like talking myself out of the thing in my head because I didn't have the vocabulary, which is part of what comes in when you're
Mm.
in your power with your throat chakra, when you can take a stand for what you want to say, when you believe. So sometimes people feel like, you may think, oh, working on the throat chakra is a very physical thing. It's an energetic experience that comes and brings with it confidence and clarity
Yes.
and expansion of vocabulary and the freedom to express yourself authentically without thinking that they're going to think you got two heads. All of those pieces come from just doing that work, which is magical.
Yes. Yes. And it really has been for me. uh, I mean, I can mark at that point that happened forward, that
Mm,
I have been able to be more vocal and put myself out there more and listen to the nudges that I feel are divinely guided
yes.
to talk to someone, to, what. write something down and send it to someone in the mail, that kind of thing.
That's a
And, you know,
beautiful thing. I
yeah,
love it.
there's,
So is it okay if I go on to the next question? Because I know
yes.
you've been at several retreats and I want to kind of extract your experiences. So one of the thing is, what are the I'm interested because you touched on this. I'm interested in your impression of like what you like most in the before and after experience of a woman when she comes into the retreat, because I know that I love doing this work because I could just track a woman and how she shifts and changes from when she walks in to when she leaves. But I want to hear from you, what does that feel like for you? What are some of the pieces that you're able to see and witness when you experience that, a woman in that?
It is so beautiful. And of course, intentionally, we create the space. We bless the space before women come. We have yummy food waiting for them so that it is very welcoming. Our other team member, Evie, is like the designated hugger. She's the most beautiful, sweet soul.
Yeah.
And so everyone feels welcome, but it's always interesting. We see the women come in, and especially for the first time at a retreat, and even sometimes if they're returning.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're trying to figure out, which mask do I wear? Am I wearing the mask that I wear at work and I have to show up the boss and I have to be on and I have to watch everything I do? Am I showing up as the friend who can, curse and tell all these things and have cocktails and this? Am I showing up as the mom? Am I showing up as the good church girl? Like, how am I supposed to show up to this? And they're kind of feeling out where they're supposed to be. And then when they realize we get to take all those masks off,
yes,
and be ourselves and surrender to the experience and really get out of it what we need for that weekend. And little by little, usually with even each activity, you'll see women at their own pace overcome things or bring forward the awareness that they need.
I love that.
It's so beautiful. I mean, by the end of it, it's just, I feel like they come in heavy, with like a bag of things they're just carrying around, all of this energy, these things, the worries, insecurities, and they're able to put that down for a weekend, open it up, unpack some of it before going back to their life, and then go, oh, wait.
Yeah, shed
do this
some
at
of it.
home.
Yeah.
I can bring this home and continue to unpack.
Yes.
So
I love the way
beautiful.
you position that thought, because it's a very different perspective. And I could honestly say, as I hear you sharing it, that there is that feeling of, okay, which version of me do I need to be in order to get through this, in order to be accepted, in order to fulfill it, in order to be correct, right? There's almost like that running GPS of, okay, do I put on this sub persona, or am I the nice girl, or am I the smart girl, am I the funny girl? Like all these ways in which we just kind of put the mask on and show up. And I do feel how that's like the running GPS in the beginning, and then little by little, like a flower, right? It just starts to open up. The woman starts to open up and take off each one of these layers to the point of seeing authenticity, seeing truth, seeing clarity come through that woman. And it's a beautiful, beautiful experience.
So beautiful. Yeah. And it's seeing them realize it is a judgment-free zone.
Yes.
And not because, part because we created that way, but really it's because they are giving themselves permission to allow that judgment to just, whatever they feel might be a judgment, whatever, and then they can take that with them.
And that's
be themselves.
How doing can start. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so I have one last question for you. And I wanted to just connect, like, we're close to the next retreat. We're kicking off the next retreat the 23rd of June, and I'm super excited about everything. We do have a couple of spaces. I think we have room for 3 more ladies maximum. But I wanted to hear from you. What do you have as an intention? What are you coming in with to work with at this retreat? Because you've been to many, and a lot has shifted. A lot has, fallen off, and you've turned into a different, newer, renewed version of yourself, and the work never ends, right? There's an opportunity to always get closer to that highest version. So I'm curious to hear what's your thing for this retreat coming up. What are you intending to work on?
Yeah, I think just continuing to surrender deeper, to trust God more. I do trust God. I also see myself picking things back up sometimes, being like, all right, I give that over to you. And then I take that back and I go, wait, why can I not make this work? Oh, maybe because I'm not supposed to make that work. Maybe because that's not supposed to be the direction that I'm heading. But also with just a deeper sense of gratitude for all that I've been able to do since the last retreat. A lot has changed, and I have been just grateful for the peace around that for me, for dynamics that have changed within family, changes with my son's school, a lot of changes in responsibility, but how before I would have really felt overwhelmed by that. And don't get me wrong, there's times it creeps back in. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. But overall, feeling peace around how things are going. And if something didn't work perfectly, it was okay.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a recovering perfectionist. Patty, you know me. Me.
I know. And it's I'm amazed. Like, I love hearing you say surrender.
Yeah.
I love hearing you say surrender.
It's a big one for me. And I am proud of myself for having done a lot of that over the past few years. I also see where I can do it even more. And I think also double checking my boundaries. There are times that I set certain boundaries for myself, and then I allow that boundary to kind of disintegrate, or it's not quite as, I haven't really set that. I'm not, there's times I realize I'm not taking my power back. And I think that was a big intention for me last retreat, was taking my power back and making sure that the Becky that shows up is showing up authentically myself, and, not showing up for how I think somebody wants me to show up, still a little bit of that mask maybe, but it's more just in my power, and showing up in my power to not overpower anyone else, but to be there in a way that I can, in fact, be in service of people.
Yeah.
And also enjoy my life.
I love it. And I just want to extract a little bit what you've just shared, because there's this beautiful combination that you've kind of brought forward that is interesting to highlight. Because in one hand, I hear you saying surrender, right?
Mm-hmm.
Letting go, allowing the things that aren't meant to be micromanaged, aren't meant to be controlled, and bringing in much more trust, right? Bringing in, like, one of my mentors, Gabby Bernstein, she says, surrender and then surrender again, right? It's very much about committed to putting things on the altar and allowing sometimes universe to do its thing, right? Which is usually much bigger than we could have even ever imagined.
Much bigger.
I hear the surrender, right? And then I also hear and I get to put up boundaries, which is beautiful to see it in the same conversations, because some women may think that surrendering is letting go of all your boundaries and giving up and allowing people to just walk all over you, right? There may be the concept of, well, surrender means giving up, and surrender means, the typical all hands up, I give up. And that's
Yeah.
not what we're talking about. We're talking about surrendering so that there is permission for flow, right?
Yes.
Permission for grace, permission for ease in our life. And then we're talking about boundaries where we take our power back, and wherever we're overextending, wherever we're giving too much, wherever we are making what other people want, need, like, think more important than what we do, that's the piece that gets to have boundaries, right? Where we can
Yes.
support ourselves. So I love the combination, and I wanted to kind of bring that up as how different it really is when we're doing that work. So I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming in with a checklist, like you're ready.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to see you, sister, coming in
Me
from the
too.
Carolinas to the Florida Keys.
Love the Keys. I can't wait.
It's going to be beautiful. And I do want to end our interview with you sharing one of your favorite quotes. If you could just anoint us with something that's kind of holding you through your days, I'd love that.
Oh my goodness. And people who know me well know I have quotes a lot everywhere. Even before it was popular to put them in your home, I had them in different places in my home. And so I am choosing one from my Nature Lover Quotes book. So let's see. This is by Rachel Carson.
Okay.
Those who contemplate the beauty of the earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. There's something infinitely healing in the repeated refrains of nature, the assurance that dawn comes after night and spring after winter.
Oh my God. Thank you, sister. Bringing in Pachamama into this circle, into this experience, which is something that we love making. You know, divine and Mother Earth is always a part of what we're bringing into each one of our experiences. And the food that we talk about and we share, and the nourishment, and the, just tapping into abundance. For me, I could tap into that prosperity and abundance most through earth, right? Through seeing all the ways in which earth like evolves and just exists. So I love that quote. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Yay. All right, sister, we're on time. We're on the time. I'm gonna send you a big hug. Thank you for coming
you
on
too.
here.
Thank you for having me.
I love it. I love it. Have an amazing day.
You
Goodbye
too.
to all. See you soon. See you next week.
Yes. All right. Bye-bye.
And bye.